Why the saxophone? Why was this the instrument of choice?
Man, so expressive. I think the sax is probably the closest thing to the human voice.
Really?
So you blow into it, so you're giving it life. Now, obviously, any instrument you play, it's an inanimate object. So when you have the opportunity to connect your lips to an instrument and put your spirit into it, it just feels different. So sax is the instrument of choice because I get to blow life into it.
All right now.
Well, watch out,
I love
man.
it. Now, I have to read this quote because this was incredible to me. And I was just amazed
You've
by it.
been doing some research.
I was amazed by this quote. And I'm sure as soon as I read the first two words, you'll know what I'm talking about. I had an epiphany last night. I was off stage listening to Michael Phillips take his solo. Here's one man breathing into an instrument and the whole room feels alive. It made me want to rise up to that level when I came back on stage. Who said that?
The purple one, Prince.
Prince said that about you.
Wow.
That's crazy to me. I'm a huge, huge Prince fan. How must it feel to not only play with him, but to have him be a fan of you?
Hey, you know what? It's still, when I hear that quote, it's still surreal to me because, number one, we all miss him. Number two, he was a teacher. And, you know, for me to get to that point of that compliment, he had to will me through that, which is, for instance, when we did the musicology tour, he would coach me. He would say, Mike, when you talk to a woman or when you're courting somebody, do you come up and say, hey, how you doing? My name is Mike. Nice to meet you. You look really nice. Can I have your number? He's like, you don't do that. He said, don't play your music like that. He said to me, I want you to find out the 4 or 5 things that you do best, space them out evenly so my crowd can have a continuous orgasm. So he broke it down in terms that was sensual, erotic, but still musical at the same time.
He was known for giving orgasms without touching women.
Man, listen. So he said, he sent me out there. He says, this is exactly what I want you to do. So we worked on it a couple times, and the time that I got it right, he looked at me. He says, I don't know how I'm going to come out after what you've done. But for me to get that compliment, he helped me. He showed me how to craft a solo. We would talk all the time. We would talk about music, not playing too much, because the spaces between the notes are just as important than the notes that you play.
Yes.
So Prince was a master of that. And when you were doing too much, he'd be the first one to tell you.
You're doing
so yeah, he was a master teacher.
Okay, now I don't know if you can do this for me, but since you still got your sax on, I want to hear the difference between before Prince talked to you and after Prince talked to you.
Okay.
So I want to pre and the post.
Okay,
here.
So before Prince, I would be like this.
Okay, that's good to me. I don't see nothing wrong with that right there. I don't want to take my panties off.
Oh, but
that was good. But that was good.
So,
you know what I'm saying? I let you slip your tongue in my mouth, but I ain't gonna take my panties off for that one. Go ahead.
So now, with Prince's mindset, same notes, but space, feeling, injection of your personality and your soul. So.
Oh yeah.
So I feel there's a big.
I feel too.
So I feel that there's a.
That was the same note.
Oh, there was just about the same notes, but you approach them differently because of the space and the feeling. At this point, when people learn how to play music, you go to these schools and they teach you from a Eurocentric standpoint. You know, you play the notes just like Coltrane, and guess what? You'll sound just like him. No. Thelonious Monk, Coltrane, what they did is their experiences as people allowed the notes to sound a certain way. So if you're not living a life on the other side of the instrument that can flow through it, then they're just notes. You have to be able, and Prince taught that you have to feel and have some conviction to what is coming through your instrument.
Yeah.
And that's why we felt what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely felt it. You're right about that. I don't mean to keep mourning deaths, but you just performed at one of Kobe Bryant's memorials. Did you know Kobe Bryant? Or?
Yeah, Kobe. I did the national anthem for a Laker game. I was such a Kobe fan. This was in '02, I think.
Right.
I waited till Kobe used to take long showers. Kobe
took he did practice for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So he took a 45-minute shower. I was waiting right there. I was like, I don't care how long you take. I'm going to come out and meet you.
You should have played while he
exactly, man. Play the Jeopardy theme for 45 minutes. So Kobe takes this long shower, and I'm waiting out there. And then I was like, I just wanted to meet you. He was so receptive. And then after that, every time I'd play a Laker game, or I would play a game that he was playing at, another team, he'll come over there, he'll always say, we had this thing, yo man, you killed that, with a T. He's like, killed that. So me playing these national anthems at the game, I would just look over at Kobe and he would give me the nod, and it was just our silent way of communicating that, hey man, I'm happy that you're here at the game playing. So, man, he'll be missed, but that was extremely hard to see his jersey. They did a whole presentation. They rang 9 bells, the Philadelphia bell for the 9 victims. And then I'm just like swelling up with emotion.
Right.
And to play the anthem and not to be overcome by the fact that we're going to miss him, I really channeled my thoughts of him being there right on the side, give me that look like, yo, man, you killed it with it. He always used to say it with the T.
Killed it.
Yeah, so R.I.P. Mamba. So the thing is, his mentality can resonate. If everybody can take up this mentality, I don't care what you want to be, a doctor, lawyer, these kids are not all going to be athletes, and we all know that. Musicians, the practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. What are you practicing? So if you put the wrong things in the repetition, it will show up in your craft, whatever you do. So Kobe was big on that. So what we can take away from this is mourning him, missing him, but also adopting this Mamba mentality that we can be the best in what we do.
Do you think people will do that, or do you think this is a phase? Do you think right now we're into mourning Kobe and everything that he is, and once he's gone,
this is our
Mamba mentality.
Man, listen,
too?
This is our version of JFK to a certain extent. It's like this is big for us. So, you'll see a movie about JFK every 10 years, every 8 years, or they have a special. Kobe is that iconic of a figure that we don't forget. We build upon the legacy, and this is not a. There's certain things that pass by. Prince is one of those figures. There's some iconic figures where their death and the memory of them and their legacy, we can always tap into it, and it will be present for us to be better than what we already are today.
Yeah.
So Kobe is that one of those iconic figures where it's just not going to pass.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that he got up to practice at 4 a.m. in the morning. I get mad just because I have to get up at 6 or 7 or 8. But to be up at 4 a.m. in the morning just so you could practice, that's pretty in-depth dedication.
Yeah, it's in this DNA. And, it's like we choose, to a certain degree, we get to choose what's in our DNA by our habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, well, he was a different dude. No, what the Mamba mentality was about is me letting you know that through repetition, you can get used to what it is to be great.
Oh,
that's what Kobe's about.
What do you do every day that makes you great at the saxophone?
I think about what I want to play. There's sometimes I'm watching television and I can close my eyes and feel myself holding the horn, and I can go through particular phrases. And I can play exercises without even touching my horn because I'm so mentally connected to it. So I have practice sessions without even having the horn in my hand. So certain times where every day I would think about, okay, what can I play?
Wow.
Or I'm listening to a television show and I'm actually soloing over it because I can hear the key that it's in. I don't have my horn, but I'm still technically going through.
Can you hear it?
Oh, yeah. I got perfect pitch. I'll tell you, oh, that's an F, or that's key, or he's flat, or that's sharp. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, yeah, I do that every day because a good friend of mine, Nachito Herrera, he said the biggest thing to playing what you think about is nothing but technique. So you have to have the technique. So I go through technical exercises in my head.
Without your instrument?
Without my instrument, yes.
How many of these do you have?
Oh, man. I have a whole bunch of them. She is all over the place. Like, I got different names for her.
Yeah.
Man, listen, yes. I literally have about 12 alto saxophones, 1 soprano, and 2 tenors.
What's your favorite one and why?
I switch. They get temperamental, and I do too. I just had an argument with my last horn. I haven't taken her out the case.
Sound like you said, I just had an argument with my last horn.
Yeah,
You
my
said,
horn.
I just had an argument with my last horn.
I'm like, she wasn't acting right, and I was at a show, and she did something that I didn't want her to do, so I put her back in the case. I don't really know.
Mike.
I don't know when I'm going to let her back out, but she definitely wasn't acting right. You don't act right with me in public, it's about to go down. You're about to get sat down.
So which one of these did you play for Nelson Mandela?
Oh, man, that is a old horn that I still have. And I was with Stevie then.
Yeah?
Yeah, Stevie Wonder. We did Nelson Mandela's birthday party in 1998.
So, okay, this is not a regular life. This is not normal. Like, how do you just end up with Stevie Wonder playing for Nelson Mandela? Like, take me through that journey.
Well, a funny story. I'm playing at a club in New York. And
was it like a juke joint club, a big club, a popular club?
It was a small club. It was small, and Stevie can't see you, but he sure can hear you.
Yes, he can.
So he was over there sitting. I said, Stevie here, so I'm going to put some extra sauce on what I'm doing because I want him to get to notice me. So finally, I get a call. I remember John Paul. He calls me and says, I'm Stevie's manager, and he wants to use you, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm thinking...
He just happened to be in the club that night, or was something going on?
No, he just happened to be there. And once Stevie was there, I turned up. And I was like,
You did the most.
Too much, but enough to get me the gig.
Right.
So Stevie called me, and man, like, what a blessing. So I sit there, and I'm like looking at Nelson, looking at the crowd. We're traveling from Durban.
Wait, you skipped a whole bunch. Stevie called you and said what?
He was like, I want you to tour with me. And I was just
tour?
Like,
so not just...
Yeah, I want you to tour with me, yeah.
Okay,
so
wow.
I'm with Nate Watts, Greg Philliganes, Morris O'Connell on guitar, and these are all the iconic musicians that you study, and I go from studying them to
playing with them.
So my first Stevie show, and I know he didn't hear me play the parts because I was just so happy to be there that I was just like looking at, if I get fired, at least I'm taking all of this in and enjoying it. And Stevie can hear everything, so he's like, man, Mike, get closer to the mic. I was like, okay. I forgot every part. He gave me a second chance.
You forgot all your parts,
Man, listen,
Mike.
It was crazy to be in South Africa with Nelson, Stevie Wonder. I was just a kid. I couldn't remember nothing. I was just happy being there.
And did you get to meet Nelson Mandela?
Yes, we got a chance to meet him.
Do you remember what he said to you?
Well, he was just shaking everybody's hand. So I do remember the moment, shaking his hand and just looking at him. And time stood still because I knew that I probably wouldn't get the opportunity to do that again. So I just said, nice to meet you, but the spirit of gratitude and understanding that we have particular people whose shoulders we stand on. the spirit of all of that came out in those 3 seconds of me staring him in his eyes, understanding what he went through and understanding where he was today and what we still need to accomplish with the spirit of Nelson Mandela in all of us. So yeah, it was a moving moment for me.
You've had several albums in the top 5 Billboard, right?
Yes, yes.
I want to know, when you first picked up this saxophone, did you ever imagine this being your life? Did you ever visualize it?
You know, a little bit later, but not. I just wanted to, when I got the call to join band, I just wanted to get out of math class. Dr. Steinberger, I remember him. He had the toupee out from Life.
Why is it always a teacher with a bad toupee?
Listen, his toupee was ill. So he comes in and say, "Who wants to join the band?" And I raised my hand because I needed. And he said, "Well, come to the band room, sign up." And I looked at everybody like, "I'm out." So I leave the math class and I'm signing up, and I thought the sax was the trombone.
Okay.
So they give me a sax, and I was like, I want the thing that go like that. And they was like, we don't have any more. So I was like, I don't really want this. I was so pissed because, first of all, it was all about being seen. So the trombone players had to be in the front of the line.
Yeah, okay,
so
okay.
I wanted to be on the Ave, like, yo, you see Mike in the front with the band, yo. So when I find out that I'm not playing the trombone, because I got the instruments mixed up, and they gave me this. I was like, I need the joint with the slide. And they was like, nah, we don't got no more. Because all the homies done got it, because they on the parade line like, yes,
And you're from Mount Vernon.
Yes, from Money on Mount Vernon. So I said, man, let me just try it. And all of a sudden, I just started taking a liking to it. And I started being dedicated. All of a sudden, I was the first one. And I played string upright bass too. And then I started liking it, and all of a sudden I became the first high school kid in New York to make it an all-state band and orchestra on 2 different instruments. So I started, you know, you look in the mirror and you be like,
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm feeling myself right now.
I'm
like, yo.
Yeah, I'm dope.
And so I started playing around in high school, and then I met Stevie when I was young. And
you met Stevie Wonder when you were young?
Yeah. I met him at the NAACP convention. And at that time...
So you had met him prior to the club?
Met him prior. There's a competition called AXO.
Yes, I know AXO.
Yeah, so I competed in AXO and lost. I lost 4 years in a row.
Okay.
And, you know, I was like, Stevie gave out the medals. And I was like, oh my God, I want to meet him. And I got so upset. And a couple years later, I'm touring with him.
Wow.
How crazy is that?